Hello, I'm with the Reverend Paul Winton, the rector of St. John's Church in Charlotte. And Father Paul, we welcome you back to Please Note.
Well, it's wonderful to be with you, Your Grace.
Father Paul has written a book that is soon to be published entitled Embarrassed by Jesus, The Crisis in Mainline Postmodern Christianity. And it is a provocative book, a challenging book, and a call to a renewed faith and commitment for the church today. Father, what made you write the book entitled Embarrassed by Jesus?
Well, the truth is, in listening to my brothers and sisters in holy orders worry about the future of the church, and frankly, I felt like maybe we were worried about the wrong things. I felt like we were worried about sort of surface problems in the church as opposed to what I think are some fundamental problems in the church. And so, it caused me to do some very deep thinking about, first of all, is the church in trouble? Instead of just saying the church is in trouble, is it? And if it is, why is it? And so I did the research, and of course, the numbers are frightening. We're in serious decline, and there's no way around that reality. The question is, once you've proven the statistics, then why are we in decline? And there are some people doing some interesting thinking and writing about that today, and this is just one of them.
Well, why do you think we are in decline?
I think that we have abandoned the historic Christological understanding of the faith. It's essentially a Christological problem. The book is really, as much as anything, a defense of a literal interpretation of the Nicene Creed of 325. And I think the church has moved away from that, and I think that that's the reason the church is in decline.
Early in the book, I'm sorry, Paul, go ahead.
No, I think once Jesus has become less than the Jesus of the Creed, he's no longer Messiah, and therefore he's no longer interesting or intriguing to anybody.
Right.
So that's the problem.
You, in fact, at one point say the institutional church is embarrassed by Jesus. The faithful are merely experiencing the domesticated Jesus the institutional church has shared and compromised the narrative of his gospel.
Yes. Yeah. I think as soon as you start saying things like all roads lead to God, we're in trouble. Jesus says, I am the way, the truth, and the life, and no one comes to the Father but by me, as if to clarify the first part of that statement. It is an exclusive claim. Now, it's an inclusive nature. That's the work of the church, is to invite everybody into that experience. But the fact of the matter is that the Christian claim is an exclusive claim about the Christship of Jesus. And it's once we've abandoned that, that's when the decline began. That's where I get embarrassed by Jesus. I don't really want to say, you see, Jesus is the way, because if I do, I might offend somebody. I don't want to offend somebody. What I want to do is invite them into the truth that Jesus is Messiah, you see. And so I think it's been a gradual stepping back from the understanding of the Creed.
Do you think, is it possible from your perspective, for someone not necessarily to go all the way with the exclusive claim that Jesus is the only way, but that the reality of God that is in Jesus is the way? In other words, what I'm wondering is there actually more room in your perspective for other possibilities that are grounded in the Christ?
No.
Okay.
No.
I didn't think so. I didn't think so.
You should have known better than that. No, we are, but no, this is the person of Jesus. I am the way. And he says this, and then as if people asked him the same question you just asked me, he said, there is no other way to the Father but through the Son. And so it isn't my claim, it's his claim.
Right.
And I'm either going to get on board with that claim or believe something less than that. And as a priest of church, I just can't sign on for less than that.
Sure. Well, let me ask you this, because toward the end of the book, you talk about looking at a way forward.
Yeah.
You almost talk about a new council, as the church has had councils like the
I
Council
do.
of Nicaea.
Yeah.
What is that? Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, first of all, what I want to say is that this is good news.
Uh-huh.
You know, one of the things I say in the book is, you know what you call the world of unbelievers? That's called a mission field. You know? I mean, right? Yeah. And if we look at how the world is positioned now compared to how it was positioned for St. Paul when he goes out on the first missionary journey, we're golden, right? I mean, we're perfectly set up for another revival. You know, I mean, the kingdom of, it's not too late for the kingdom of God on earth.
Right.
You know, we just got to get serious about it. It's time to collar up, you know. I mean, it's time to get serious about this. And so I do think there's a way forward. I don't think we give up. Right. We can't call Christ's church dead. He hasn't called it dead. That's up to him to do. In the meantime, we got to do the work. So I do think that it's time to come together, though, and tell the truth about what we believe about this person, Jesus, today. If we hold that he really is not the way, then it's time to say that and move on. You know? But let's come together. Let's have another Christological council. Let's get clear about what Christendom holds Jesus to be. And let's have some integrity about it. Let's get rid of the schizophrenia. The person who stands in the creed on Sunday morning says the creed with a sort of spiritual wink and a nod. You know? Let's stop that. You know?
Yeah.
You know, that's the essence of that. And then to have a period of silence where we listen for the still small voice of God. Let's take 10 years. Let's not do anything new. Let's not do anything radical. Let's not build another church. Let's just pray, listen for the voice of God, and see what he might be calling his church, to do and be. Let's put a moratorium on ordinations so we know what we're ordaining into. You know? If I'm ordained into one Christ and you're ordained into another Christ, we've got a problem. For us to do these sorts of things. But I have great hope for the future of the church. Great hope for the future of the church. But we're going to have to decide who this Jesus is.
Well, I suspect, Paul, that while there will be many people who will disagree with you, there will be many who will agree. The Christological conversation may be the conversation for our time.
Oh, absolutely. I don't think there's any doubt about it. And it can be done with charity, it can be done with love, and it can be done graciously. You know, by the way, that person who has a different idea about who Jesus is, loves that Jesus just as much as I love the Jesus I'm talking about, you know? And so I'm willing to have a conversation with that person. But we have to start out by having some clarity about who we're talking about. And I think that over time, which is understandable, I suppose, over time this thing was going to shift and evolve or devolve or whatever it's done. Is it unreasonable? It's been since 325. It might be reasonable to come together and have a conversation about this.
Right. If I remember my early church history, the Council of Nicaea pretty much wrestled and battled over the Nicene Creed, 325, but they didn't really finish it until 381 at the Council of Constantinople.
That's right. You know, and so, you know, I mean, what else has stood that test of time?
Right.
You know, it's a testimony to the truth of Christ. But I do think that the Christology I hear in the church, throughout the church, has moved a far cry from where our church fathers entrusted it to us.
Well, what you have done is made an offering to that conversation, and just like when those disciples were on the Emmaus Road in conversation about the death of Jesus, as they kept talking with each other, the stranger, that Jesus showed up, and they knew him risen, alive, and they knew him in the breaking of the bread.
And that's why together, you know, we have to keep. We can have all the conversations we want, but we've got to meet each other at the altar rail, break the bread, drink the wine, have that Christ revealed to us, and then speak in love to one another about who he is. I'd agree the book is provocative, but you're always provocative when you make a statement from which you won't back off, you know? And I'm not inclined to do that about many things other than Jesus, but there you go.
Father Paul, you're one in a million, and I thank God for you.
And well, my delight to be right.
And thank you for this book, which will be available on Amazon.com, and people can order it from there. And if they'd like to be in conversation with you, we'll put the contact information for you.
Thank you very much.
God bless you, and keep the faith.
God bless you, Your Grace. Thank you.